Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Craftsman Creative Podcast. Today, I've got an exciting one. I was invited to come on a live call on Instagram Live with two of my friends and course partners, Telisa and Doris. So Telisa is with Roessein Art, and Doris has a company called Love Lettering. They're both based in Toronto, Canada. I filmed two courses when I was there in March of 2022. So they just launched their courses this week. We hopped on Instagram Live and we had a nice hour-long conversation about how to make online courses, all of the behind the scenes of what went into making these courses and making them successful. To date, it hasn't even been a week, and Telisa's already done over $10,000 in sales. Doris is well on her way as well. So they are successful courses as well as just being online courses. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. It was hosted by Telisa, but the three of us chatted about the process of making these courses together, and I hope you like it.
Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Roessein Art. I'm going to invite Doris and Darren, and we're going to talk about everything behind the scenes of building online course. So let's get them up in here.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good to see you both. Hi. Congrats on
Hi,
launching your
everyone.
courses this week. Oh
Thank
my goodness.
you.
What a huge accomplishment. My goodness.
Yes, we definitely have to celebrate. But
Yes.
yeah, so excited to talk about everything behind the scenes of building our courses. This is 9 months in the making, by the way, everybody.
Like a baby.
Oh, Haley is here. Hi.
Hi, Lily. She's my first Instagram Live friend.
This is your second time, right?
That's right. I'm
Yeah.
I'm a pro
You're a
now.
pro.
No, I'm just kidding.
Perfect. Okay, so we only have exactly an hour because otherwise Instagram is gonna boot us out, and we have so much to talk about. So before we start, so this is Instagram we're gonna talk about everything behind the scene, how we build our courses. Doris just launched her course, her lettering lifestyle course. So excited for her, you guys. I actually learned how to hand letter beyond surface from Doris. I have her book. That was my first hand lettering book. And her online course is basically like, it's like the life of it, like the video of it. So you're gonna learn so much from it.
It's like a two.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
There you go.
Doris sent this to me before we even really knew each other. She's like, yeah, let me just send you my book. This book is amazing. It's hardcover. It's like printed. So, oh my gosh.
Thank you. You know why? I sent you the book because I really wanted you to know, like, what is it that I do, right? Like, I wanted you to understand what is it that I wanted to, like, teach the world, and see if it aligned with, like, your vision and your platform. And, I just wanted you to have a better understanding of me as an artist first, right? Before we, did anything together. But, but as you can see, it was success.
Yes.
I'll say. It came together quite nicely.
Yes, everything did. But Telisa, I was I want to just re-mention, it's like I may have taught you how to letter beyond paper, but you have taught me how to engrave. Okay, so I always say we're like a full circle friendship here,
Yes.
But I think that's what like it's all about, right? Like I teach you something, you teach me something, and that's and then we have this bond, unbreakable bond, and now we did this course together, so we have even more like stories to tell, and
Oh my God, yes.
more history together. So
yes.
yeah.
And speaking of stories to tell, we also do Clubhouse every Sunday, 9:30 p.m. So if you ever, want to join us, chill and talk about hand lettering, lifestyle, or engraving, or anything, or about the business and whatnot, we just love hanging out and sharing, and hearing your stories as well. Okay, so without further ado, I do want to start by introducing all three of us, who we are and what we do. So I do want to ask, I'm going to start with Doris. Doris,
Okay.
when did you start hand lettering? And just tell us about what you do.
Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm Doris. If you don't know me, I'm a hand lettering artist based out of Toronto. I've been like doing like hand lettering since I was like a young child, but in 2014 I decided to actually make this my full-time career, and I started Love Lettering, which is like my studio. I did this because I really wanted to spend more time with my daughter back then, and that I also wanted to cultivate something that was really part of who I am. And obviously lettering was always part of that. I'm my background in education, my educational background is illustration, but what I really love to draw most is letters, and that's what I focus on. But I not only love letters, I always want to take lettering to like the next level. So when I talk about lettering beyond paper, that is taking your lettering to the next level of creativity. So yeah, like I'm also an author, obviously. Darren like so kindly showed my book. But this course is more of like a 2.0, more in-depth version, more details included of this book. And when I wrote the book is 2017. It's been 5 years. So there's a lot of stuff that has happened in the lettering world since then. So obviously I talk a little bit more about everything that's happened, more tools, more tips and everything like that. But enough about me. You have to meet Darren, like the guy behind Telisa in my course. It wouldn't really exist without Darren because his platform and honestly his personality is one of the things that really drew me to want to work with him. So Darren, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you, our relationships came to be and formed?
Absolutely. So my background is not in lettering. I don't do calligraphy or lettering or engraving or anything like that. But 2 years ago, when the pandemic happened, I was working as a film and TV producer. I was actually a senior producer on a TV show called Relative Race. And we got furloughed for the summer because nobody knew what was going on with COVID. And for the first time in a decade, I found myself with free time. I had never had free time before. So I started this platform called Craftsman Creative. And it didn't start as a platform. It started as just a site where I could host 2 of my own courses because we were all locked down and I missed my friends. And one of my favorite things to do was to go and talk to my creative and artistic friends about their businesses. And I wasn't able to do that because we were locked in our houses. So I was like, fine, I'll make a course and I'll put it online and then everyone can watch it. And I promptly sold like 4 of them because it was the beginning of the pandemic and no one was spending money. So right like a month later, I was on a live call similar to this with a friend of all of ours, Haley Berry from Type Affiliated. And I was so blown away by how good she was on camera because it was a remote one. We pre-recorded our videos and put them up for this group called Creative Collaborative here in Provo, Utah. And I reached out to her instantly. I said, have you ever thought about doing an online course? And she said, oh my gosh, I want to. I have this workshop and I want to turn it into a thing, but I don't know anything about filming, editing, back-end, website, payments, etc. And I was like, well, guess what? I just made all of that stuff. So why don't we do this? And I made up the business model on the spot. I said, why don't I do the course for you? Shoot it, produce it, edit it, host it, all that stuff. And you bring your personality and your amazing skill set and your workshop content and then your audience, and we'll do a split on the back end. And she said yes, and it was that. And a month later, we had her course on the site and she did an amazing, amazing job. So since then, I've done 15 other courses with creators because Haley really showed me what the model of this was. It wasn't me doing courses for creators, it was me helping creators like the 2 and now 3 of you, if you include Haley who's here, giving you a way to reach your audience in a new way, to bring in a new revenue stream, and to really set yourself apart from the rest of the industry because you're now an educator. You're an authority on the subject. So when people are searching for hand engraving course or hand lettering on stuff, they're gonna find you because you've got more authority there. And when people think about, oh, you would love to learn lettering? Well, you gotta go check out these 3 amazing, talented artists because they have courses. So it's not just go follow their Instagram, it's go check out their course and go learn from them because they're teaching. Sorry, I get long-winded, so I'll shut up for a second.
No, it's good. It's good. Keep going.
But like, let's hear about you, Telisa. I think like there might be some people here today that don't know who you are. I don't know where they've been if they don't know who you are. But tell us a little bit about your lettering engraving journey, and then you know, we'll get into the making of the courses.
Yeah, of course. So I started calligraphy back in 2018, and then I decided to make this a full-time career. So I left my HR job and did it full-time, and I learned so much about the business at the beginning of my career. And then I started doing engraving a year after, based on a client wanted something more permanent. And then at that time, there was nothing available. There's no education about engraving at all. So I just kind of like, you know, try to Google something. And I found the drill just by Googling like engraving drill. And I tried different ones. And I found the one that I like. And then I just kind of learned everything on the go. And 1 month after I started doing engraving, I started sharing it on, you know, my social media. And then one of my, you know, client that I've already was doing calligraphy on site, they wanted something to be engraved. And ever since then, like most of my on-site life are engraving now. And because of that, I do a lot more engraving items. I've probably done like thousands of them. And I learn I learn as I go, like as to like how to engrave like different surface one. And I made a lot of mistakes before, and like, you know, like, and from that, I feel like, okay, I need to create a course, because I get so many questions from people about like, you know, how to engrave this, what are burrs, what are those blue things, what are this, what are that, like, you know. And I heard so many like stories and stuff like where like, well, they make mistakes. I'm like, you know what, this is time, like I have to create a course. I did a workshop week last year with Becca from the Happy Ever Crafter, and then from that, I think that's how Darren found both of us, and then the course is made.
Yeah, just like that, magic.
Yeah,
very strategic. Because here's the thing, Haley had such a successful course. I'm like, man, I got to find more hand lettering artists. And then Becca shows up and she's like, here's 35 of them. So I just like got all your emails and messaged all of you. And then, you know, I found Telisa, like, I think I met Doris first, and Doris was kind of keeping Telisa a secret. And I met this guy named Terrence, and he's like, you got to talk to Telisa. And then I was like, Doris, what's up? She's right there. And she's like, yeah, we're friends. I was going to introduce you. So it worked out perfectly. We're all here now.
Yep, that's right. We made it happen. Trifecta, you know, powerhouse here.
Doris,
perfect. Did
you talk about how you came up with your course idea?
Yes. Doris, you want to start?
You
just did, but Doris should talk about it as well.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I never really think that, like, you know, like, what is my course idea, right? Like, I always just have this vision of like what is possible when it comes to lettering, right? Like, I know, like, you know, like for me, it's not always just been script. Like for it, when I started the business, it was more like catered towards servicing events and weddings and, you know, parties and things like that. But before I even had my business, I always used the art of hand lettering to decorate for my own home, if you can tell. I always like used it to decorate for my parties. I always used my lettering to make gifts for people. Like, it was just this handy secret skill that I had to just make things beautiful and personal just with the art of hand lettering. So when I started the business, that's like, you know, I started showing people like all the things that I could do with it. And it's always just been my passion to just try to teach other people that this is like a really easy like skill to learn that is going to just enhance your life and make everything around your home more beautiful, but also in your life, because then you can make really nice things for your friends, really personal things for as gifts. You can, like, you know, instead of buying dollar store stuff from the dollar store to decorate for your parties, whatever theme you have, you can actually create beautiful decor and signage just with the art of hand lettering, right? So it might seem tricky, but it's honestly, it's a matter of knowing like the tools to use and having a really good method and knowing the process of how to apply these pens to the surface. And, you know, and there's so many different surfaces that you can use, right? So for me, the art of lettering has always been like, you know, limitless, right? But I just have to show people the potential of what it could possibly be. So that's always going to be my life's mission, is to show people how to use the art of hand lettering in their everyday life, which is why the course is called the Lettering Lifestyle. So yeah, I hope
So
that makes
great.
sense.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
It does make sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a way to communicate, right? With your lettering, but then it is just
It is. It really is. Like honestly, like, you know, like as a mom, it's like it's so easy to just go to like the party store and just buy stuff that is like, you know, that everybody buys, right? But I'm just not that mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like I always want to make things special, right? I always want to make things unique. I always want to make things picture and Pinterest ready. Like, you know what I mean? So how do you do that? You do that by choosing the right words, right? Like you're never going to have a sign at the store that's going to have your daughter's name on it. But the thing is, you can definitely make a sign that has your, like, you know, like Melody's, you know, what am I doing? Melody's miniature party. Like, you know what I mean? So that's not going to exist out in the world. Like you can buy it, but you know, with this skill, you can make it yourself, right? And it's probably going to be less expensive because you're just going to be using surfaces that you have around the home already, meaning like mirrors, like, you know what I mean? You can go to the dollar store, get a really cheap piece of wood, a chalkboard that you already own. It's just turning these things that you have every day into amazing things with the art of hand lettering. And you tailor it towards whatever party that you have, and you can reuse the surface again and again, right? So
yeah. No, I love
I got to
that.
tell
I
you,
love that.
I tell you, Doris, because I came home after both of your courses and felt like I was on top of the world. Like I said, I'm not a lettering person at all. I don't have that skill set. But I came home and I was sending out these invitations to like a new community that I started for Craftsman Creative. And so rather than just like send out an email or put a tweet online or whatever, I ordered these really nice black and gold envelopes from Amazon. And then I designed this whole like lettered thing in Canva. And then I'm hand lettering with a gold pen.
Oh my God.
I took my game up a notch. And you know what's amazing though? It's not just like, oh yeah, anyone can do this part. What's amazing is the effect that it had on the people who got the invites. Because they were like, who sends physical invites anymore that are hand lettered? Aaron does. Yeah. Well, yeah, it set me apart. And I had people joining this new thing that I was starting as like a beta test, you know, who probably wouldn't have if I was just like blasted my email list of 1,500 people with an invite link, right? It shows them that you care. It makes the connection and the relationship more personal. So that's what's incredible about both your courses, is that you get this inspiration to like go create stuff. And like, yeah, I'm equal parts business and creative. So I came home and I was like, I want to be pure creative. I just want to make stuff. So I sent out like 100 of those that I hand lettered because you guys inspired me so much. Yeah,
100.
100. Yeah.
Wow, that's a dedication.
Honestly, yeah, but like I'm sure like after you watching, like, you know, like producing our courses, like you have to get the gist that it's not as hard as you think, right? It's not as hard as you think, because we're gonna show you what to do, right? It's not like, you know, you have us to guide you, and that I think that's really important, right? We're holding your hand.
Yeah. Well, and Doris, you talk about starting from scratch, and that's literally where I was starting from. Now, I have weird amounts of knowledge of the art of hand lettering because of Haley and filming her 2 courses. So I knew like the right things to do, the wrong things to do, that kind of stuff. But I hadn't done it. And so literally started from scratch. And a week later, I had people like spending money to like join a community because I hand lettered these things. So it's incredible. It's so cool. And I mean, I was doing this on Telisa's call the other night on Thursday. I was like, I'm fully confident that I could go and buy an engraving drill and like buy some burrs, and go set up in Nordstrom at the mall and be like, hey, I'm an engraving artist. I'm going to engrave on stuff. Bring your expensive perfume bottles over because I'm ready. I could do this thing.
You might have people knocking on your door, Darren, okay? So you better get that engraving drill ready.
Look at that. We have a calligrapher and engraver from Utah now.
Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. Maybe after I get home from making a movie, then I'll bring that skill set to life.
I know.
Oh, man. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to talk about was the preparation. Like, let's get into the nuts and bolts a little bit of the course, because I'm sure there's plenty of your followers that are also interested in making courses, whether they want to do it themselves, whether they want to use a company like Craftsman Creative, or if they just want to hire someone like a friend to come film it and edit it and do all that stuff. What do you do? How do you do this stuff? So Telisa and Doris, kind of talk us through your side of things, and then maybe I'll kind of add little bits and pieces here of like how I think about creating online courses that are successful.
So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. So when Darren came to my life and then emailed me with his email, so at that point I was already like, I knew that I wanted to create a course. I'm so happy Terrence has just joined us on the Instagram live, because he's the reason how we're like connected. So basically I had my course outline ready. I actually even bought a course of how to build a course. But when I saw all of the all of the things that you have to do, you know, from the marketing and then building and all the tech stuff, it was way too overwhelming. It was really hard for me. And then you know, have that, and then have Darren on board, how he said like he could do like all of the you know, the things that us creators, it's really hard to do, like knowing how, like, you know, taking integrating the videos and lighting and all that. That's like hard stuff. And then the admin stuff on the platform, right? So the preparation for me, I created the course outline, which I shared to Darren. The outline that I came up with are based on all the questions that I've received from my audience about engraving. So like, I got a lot of questions about the tools. I got a lot of questions about like, you know, how to do engraving on different surfaces. And I went by like the most common surface to engrave to like the least common. And then also adding to like the stuff that what my client asked me, what, like all the business stuff, like everything from the pricing, about live engraving event. Like I always get a lot of people ask me like, how do you get hired? And all that stuff is all included. So I created outline. So what I did is I just kind of brain dump all the stuff that I wanted to teach, and I wrote it on sticky notes, and then kind of like lining it up, and then I create the module that way, and I shared that to Darren, and then from that the next things that we both kind of like, you know, communicate back and forth, just more like, okay, we're gonna create a landing page, and then the landing page is gonna include all the stuff. And then, so then that kind of like gives people a heads up, hey, we're creating this course. It's gonna launch sometime soon, but at the same time, you're kind of getting ideas from people like, what else do you want to learn from us? And then on the day of the, like, you know, shooting, like I had all the projects ready based on the course outline that we prepared. And then so when it comes to on the day of shooting, it would just like go. It's like, okay, we're doing this and we're doing this and we're doing this. All 12 hours, it's just so jam-packed. And like, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then the hurdles that we had is just basically the pandemic. Could we have done it earlier? Probably, but if there was no pandemic, because like, you know, Darren came from Utah, right? He had to flew to see us here in Toronto. And that's probably the only struggles that I noticed that, you know, we had. And yeah, that was so much fun though. All the hard work is so worth it.
Yeah. There's 2 or 3 things I want to quickly touch on for the people listening that I think are super important about that whole process, right? The first thing that I asked the course creators to do, even before I sign them up and agree to do a course together. And even Terrence could probably attest to this because I had him do this. We talked about doing a course together. And I said, the first thing you have to do is go poll your audience. Like, go ask them, what would you want to learn from me about whatever it is you teach? So for Telisa, it was, what do you want to learn, or what do you want to know about hand engraving? For Doris is, what do you want to learn about the way that I letter on stuff and incorporating lettering into your lifestyle? And that provided us such a huge amount of content, right? So you put it into that outline, you start organizing it, and you work with someone who kind of has an understanding of all that. And you basically have the entire course right there. Or you can see that you got 2 responses and your audience isn't quite ready yet for the course. So I've had conversations with a handful of creators who are like, I really want to do one, and they've got like 500 followers. And again, that might be enough. You could have a successful course launch with 500 people if they're very engaged. But if you got a couple thousand followers, and you've got 0 engagement, 0 people wanting to learn from you. Look, Terrence just responded, I polled my audience and revealed that I wasn't ready for a course just yet, but I can't wait until I am. So he responded and said, I don't think my audience sees me as a teacher yet. And I was like, okay, well, let's stay in touch, and let's, grow your audience, and let's start doing some tutorials online, et cetera, et cetera. So that is such an important first step. Don't just go out and make a course without talking to your audience about it and then release it and hope that they show up. The whole principle behind this is called building in public. There's a book by a guy named Austin Kleon called Show Your Work. And it's literally about, like, when you're working, take a picture of the sketches, of the failures, of the things you're working on, because then people know that it's coming. Boom! Steal Like an Artist is another one that's a great book.
This one.
No, there you go. Show Your Work. That's the book. So if you haven't read that, absolutely get it, because it's such an important principle to implement into your business as a creator and an artist, is to show your work. Haley's amazing at this. You two are both pros at this. Like, I look at your Instagram, it's just like, my gosh, you're doing it so great, because you're bringing people along for the ride. And then when you have an opportunity to share, to teach, to educate, to contribute to their lives and businesses, they're like, yeah, I've been waiting. Let's go. So Doris, talk to us about like your side of the process as we were going through. And again, we talked the first time in like August. We were like, yes, we're making a course. And
yeah, you know what? Like, I'm gonna come from it from a more like personal, like, standpoint, because like when I received your email, like, like, okay, you're gonna come and you're gonna come to me to record my course, and it's not gonna cost me anything, because you're gonna incur all the expenses, you're gonna do all the editing, you're gonna host the workshop. All I have to do is show up and bring what I want to teach. Okay. This sounds too good to be true. It must be a scam. Like, it must be a scam.
I remember you talked to me about it.
This must be it's too good to be true. Okay, because it's basically taking away all the pain points and all the friction of why I do not want to make an online course. I can't edit. I don't want to edit. I don't want to host it. I don't want to write the email. Like, I had the same type of feeling when I was writing the book. When I got the book email, I was like, is this a scam? Like, I have to like research and, like look up like the company behind it, the person behind it. But honestly, when I saw Haley's course, I was like, oh, that kind of gave me like a little bit of comfort. But just so you know, I still messaged Haley and I said, Haley, is this too good to be true? Like, how is this? Like, like, what do you think? Like, so on it, like when Haley's like, oh no, it's been great. Like, and that was like, that's basically all it took. Because honestly, word of mouth is much better than like, anything else. Right. And like, if Haley's doing it, I have to do it too. Like, that's kind of like, how it started. But like, on the day, I always tell people, on the day that I had a meeting with Darren, I also had a meeting with someone to write a second book. And I turned down the book and I was like, I'm going to go with Darren. Like, if I'm going to invest in a project, honestly, with my life, I always feel like I want to do things and work with people that I really want to spend time with, right? So if you see, I spend a lot of time with Telisa, and you know, and I really enjoyed my time and the enthusiasm and the person behind the business, right? Because that's what's important to me. Just the people that I'm going to surround myself with. So it was like a no-brainer to work with Darren and Craftsman Creative. But yeah, it was hard work. Like I can't tell you that it wasn't hard work. I have to tell you, there's 2 times that I kind of cried, like, you know, so like, you know, it's
Not
not
because
like,
of me though, right? It wasn't my fault, right?
No, well, it's kind of your fault because
Oh,
you made me make this course. No. You presented this opportunity.
Oh God.
You know, but I always say, you know what? When you're doing things that are really, really hard, you know you're doing something that's going to be worth it in the end, right? Like, you know, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? Like everyone would do it. Everyone would write a book. Everyone would, you know, what? But it's not always going to be easy. And, you know, and I knew that, right? I knew it was too good to be true, Darren. No. But you know what? We're here today, and the courses are out, and they're done, and they're beautiful, right? And it serves the purpose of what I wanted, which is like something that is going to be here forever, that will inspire the next generation of people who love lettering and what they can do with it. So to me, it's like I want to have this new art form. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, to me, lettering beyond paper, the lettering lifestyle is like is like painting. It's like weaving. It's like knitting. Like, this is like another art form. It is lettering beyond paper, which I call the lettering lifestyle. So,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 things from that, and then I want to get into talking about your courses. So there's a lesson in there of what Doris just shared for all the people that are watching this and listening to this who are freelancers. If you work with clients, the bar that I think you should set for yourself is having them react with the same way that Doris reacted, which is, this sounds too good to be true. You want to create the kind of experience and the kind of offer to where people have no reason to say no to you. So what does that look like for you and your business? For me, it meant becoming more of a partner with creators rather than being a vendor. So seeing myself as someone who could partner with people, work together, and be completely aligned in the outcome. Because I only make money if the courses make money, if the creators make money. And I felt like that was so important, because otherwise I'd go out and charge $25,000 or $30,000 to create a course for people. I wouldn't be working with people like Doris and Telisa, not because they couldn't afford it, but because generally I would be going after people who have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, because I know that they've got the money and the infrastructure and all that stuff. But I really felt like it was important to work with creators that have these amazing, smaller, engaged, niche audiences that are 10,000 to 50,000 followers. It's been such a cool thing. So I want to quickly talk about one other thing that's like the very first starting point after I've said, yeah, let's do a course together. What was the very first line on the outline that I sent you to? What is the outcome of this course? What's the singular outcome that you're going to help people achieve when they take your course? And the reason that I put that in front of the creators is because from the very beginning, we need to be thinking about the student, not about us. So it's not about how do we make the most money. It's not how do we sell the most things or improve our conversion rates or any of that kind of business stuff. It's literally starting with, who's going to take this course? Who is it for? And what's the outcome that we're optimizing for, that we're trying to help them achieve? So Telisa and then Doris, like, what was that for you? What was the outcome that you were trying to help people with these courses?
For me, because my course is generally specifically for someone who already knows calligraphy or hand lettering, or at least know the basic of, your style, the outcome would be having confidence engraving without feeling intimidated and worry or any concern with all the surface that they're given to them, and become a business. And you get, because it's a engraving is it's an upgrade service, right? Because it lasts forever, and the stuff that you're engraving typically has a lot of meaning for the client. So you can charge higher. So the outcome is that you can comfortably engrave and get higher revenue and be trusted by clients, by brands, be comfortable, be confident doing live engraving on site, be confident in pricing. And also the outcome is that you will get support from me through the Discord. And that's my promise to you. It's also, it's not just the skill itself, but also the business side of it as well.
Yeah. The business stuff, the whole module you did on business is such, like, that alone to me is worth the value of the course, because you're talking to people who are already doing this work and you're saying, here's how to do more of it at a higher rate and to elevate your clients and all this stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I'm like, man, I should be doing lettering. This is an amazing business here. All right, Doris, what was it for you? What was the thing that you cared most about with creating your course?
I actually just like went on my computer to look at what I wrote, okay,
nice.
as the outline, okay, just because like I'm like I feel like I could always go on and on and on about like, you know, what I want to bring to this world, right? But I was trying, like I always find it hard to like put it into one sentence, but I'm gonna read it to you, okay? I said, oh my God, okay, sorry. I want to read it exact, okay? So I said, by the end of this course, the students will be able to use the art of hand lettering to create a beautiful, creative, and more joyful life, okay? Because that to me has always been the reason why I lettered for people. But also, because I did this throughout my whole life, it ended up being a business. Like, you know what I mean? I showed, when you said show your work, I showed people what I was able to do with my hand lettering, and people found reasons to use me for their, you know, not everybody will have the patience to learn. Not everybody has, like, you know, the want and the curiosity to learn. If you are able to pick up this skill, people who are around you will ask you to create these things for them and for their occasions, for their friends and family. And that's how it eventually turned into a business for me. I was just able to show people, this is what I can do. And people found reasons to hire me to do things, do my hand lettering for their events and their weddings and their you know, gifts and things like that, right? So I think that whenever you're passionate about something, you know, you just have to show the world what you love to do and become, like, you know, a little bit more of an expert. And then from there, people will just be drawn to your work, and then they will, you know, people will find you, and then you will eventually have clients as well, right? But for me, it's always a creative outlet first, like, you know, and that's what I want to bring to the world. Like, even for me, like, if it's a mom that wants to learn this for purely for the sake of creating beautiful things for their children, for their for their birthdays, for occasions, that is, you know, one aspect of, like, you know, of the person that would want to learn lettering beyond paper. But I also feel like it's a skill that, you know, a wedding or event planner could have. Like, if they were like in a tight bind that, you know, they needed a place card, or they needed to create a quick sign for, like, you know, to lead guests somewhere, they could grab anything and create a beautiful sign that would, you know, serve its purpose, right? Yeah, so I just feel like it's like I said, a creative skill that's almost for anybody. It's almost like a secret magic power, like, you know. That's what's been my, if I was a superhero, I think that would have been my, you know, my magical power, that I could letter on anything, right? And yeah, solve
It's
world
true,
problems
though.
with beautiful hand lettering.
You're not wrong. It is a superpower. It took, like, a simple invitation and the amount of engagement and responses and people that signed up. As I mentioned earlier, I hand lettered these invitations, and it was crazy, the response I was getting. You're not wrong. It totally takes your whole life to a new level. So I want to share one funny story from when we were filming at Doris's house.
Oh my God, I wonder if it's the same story.
Oh, did you already share it?
I wanted to tell a story too.
Okay. Well, we'll tell it together, and then we can dive into, here's what I think we should do, because we got about 20 minutes left, right? So we should talk about the courses and the bundles. And then we should talk about, or do some Q&A, right? So I just want to get the funny stories out of the way before we do the Q&A. So we were there, and on the way, I think it was the second day we were filming, on the way to, I found like the one green smoothie place in the entirety of like wherever you live in Toronto. And I was so excited. It took forever to get it because she was like talking me through how to make everything. I'm like, I know, it's a green smoothie. Just give it to me. I want to put it in my mouth. So I put it in the car. I get there. I'm unloading my stuff, and I put it on this little table in your office. And as I'm setting up the cameras, I think my jacket caught the edge of it, and it slid off. Full smoothie, like a 16-ounce smoothie.
Huge.
Fell onto the floor and did like an explosion, like up in the air. Like, I'm so excited to be here that I want to be out of the cup. And it got everywhere. So grateful that you have like a wood laminate floor and not carpet, because I would have been like, oh no, I'm paying for carpet replacement now. But it was this green smoothie. It got all up my leg, on my pants. It got on my shoes, on my socks. Your husband like let me borrow a pair of socks. We took 20 minutes to clean it all up. I hope there's not still just smoothie on your walls everywhere. But the coolest part of the story is that Doris and Telisa both took such great care of me when I was there. And you ordered me a new smoothie, and it was there like 15 minutes later from DoorDash. So I didn't miss out on drinking my smoothie either. So fun
I know.
times had by all.
Yeah, that's the exact same story I wanted to tell too. Okay, you and the green smoothie. It was. I was just like, first of all, you had tons of equipment everywhere. Okay, and thank God it wasn't like it didn't ruin your equipment, right? That was what I was most concerned about. And then so it's like it's so tight in the room. There's so much equipment. It's like, I want to help you, but it's so tight in there. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I just gave you a roll of paper. I'm like, okay, you go, you can handle this, and I'll just order you another juice, because I know that was your breakfast. Like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, like it was like a baby blowout.
It
was bad. It was so bad. Like it was like 3 diapers
from both
in one.
From both ends. So yeah.
I remember the day that you went to my house to film was the day that I was also cat sitting my sister-in-law's cats. You remember this? All the 4 cats were sniffing on his equipment.
Yep. And I'm very allergic to cats, so luckily they must have been hyperallergenic or something. I think you gave me 1 pill, and I was good for the day, but my gosh, trying to film a course for 10 hours and with cats in the room, I was so worried.
Yeah,
all right.
But thank God I gave you some medication. So.
Thank goodness, indeed. Okay, with the time left, let's quickly talk about, so your courses are live on the site. So if anyone's interested in checking them out, they can go to craftsmancreative.co. and you can see the courses there. Just scroll down a little bit and they're there. Or you can just go to the link in bio for Telisa and to Doris's Instagram, and they have links to them as well. Here's what I'm very excited about. And this was strategic. So here's another lesson for all you creators out there. Be strategic in the way that you put products together. Instead of going out and saying, all right, I want to find somebody who like juggles and somebody who does like flame artwork or whatever, like something completely unrelated. We already had these 2 amazing courses from Haley on the site. Like, what happens if I expand the hand lettering offering and have more courses? So that's why I found these 2 amazing artists and we did courses together. So now there are 2 different bundles where you can save 10% on your course purchases if you want to buy more than one. So there's an advanced lettering bundle, which includes Telisa and Doris's courses together. And then there is a Craftsman Creative hand lettering bundle where you literally get 4 courses, both of Haley's courses and Telisa and Doris's course, at what to me is like probably what each individual course should be priced at, if you ask me, because there's so much incredible information and the transformation from going to not having this skill to having this skill. I mean, we've talked about this between the 3 of us. Someone takes your course and goes out and finds 1 client or gets 1 extra gig, and they just paid for the price of the course. So we tried to price it all very, not responsibly, but affordably, so that people can, realize that there's value there. So it's not like a $20 thing, but also like this is going to transform your skills and your mindset and your businesses. So what else do you two want to add? Sorry, I'm just stealing the show here.
No, keep going. That's good about the bundle.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are gonna wonder, like, you know, what's the difference between Haley's hand lettering and then like the lettering lifestyle and then like Telisa's engraving? Like, what is the difference? Like, you know, like I honestly think that Haley's courses are like such a good foundation of learning how to letter, meaning like composition. Like she gets in, like she'll teach you all the terms, you know, like all her tricks of how to make things look balanced and beautiful, you know. And I do also touch upon that in my course. I do teach a little bit of hand lettering. But the thing is, how I do it is like, once you created a beautiful piece of lettering, what if you wanted to put that onto a mirror, like, you know, to make it like really stand out? How would you do that? What kind of pens would you use to letter this awesome design onto a mirror? Like, you know, what are the steps that you would use? What if you wanted to turn it into a chalkboard instead? Like, you know, I can teach you how to transfer your beautiful design onto a chalkboard. So Haley's course is like teaching you how to create beautiful hand lettering designs. Mine is like, once you have the designs and the composition down packed, what if you want to take your creativity of lettering to the next level, leveling up and putting it into your everyday lifestyle, meaning like making art for your home, making gifts for your friends, you know, doing decor for your parties, you know, and things like that. And Telisa's is like even one step even further. It's even more tailored to the point where when I create things, I can always erase them because I'm going to use the mirror again for another party, right? But when Telisa engraves something, it's something super personal, like super special for somebody super special that is going to treasure it for the rest of their lives. Okay, so like it's 3 different ways of thinking about lettering, but using lettering as well in a different way, right? But they're all very creative, and they complement each other really, really well, right? So that's kind of like my 2 cents about it.
Yeah, I love how
Perfectly said.
you explain everything. It's perfect. It's like Haley like teach the basic lettering level composition and whatnot, because I don't cover how to do hand letter, right? And then if you want to go beyond the surface, and then you go with Doris, and if you want to make it last forever, and then you take my course. So it's like a beautiful bundle.
Yeah. One big beautiful bundle.
Yes. It's a triplet.
It's amazing. And since we're talking about behind the scenes, you know, I wanted to mention that the way we structured that, it was super interesting because I can go into the course behind the, you know, back end and be like, all right, for this course, Doris gets 50 and I get 50, right? And for this course, Telisa gets 50 and I get 50. But for the big one, I was like, okay, well, I want to discount it 10%, but I don't want to take it out of your half, right? So I had to do some weird math. And so it's like 18% and 24% and 36% and some weird numbers, but to make sure that you still get the full amount and the 10% is coming off of the Craftsman creative side. Because for me, I think it's important that I'm the one giving those discounts to the audience because they're giving a greater investment by enrolling in multiple courses. So it's very cool that we were all on board with that. Like I was hoping this would work out, and thank goodness you're all such friends and you know each other and you're cool about it, right? So that you're okay with cross-selling and marketing to each other and those kind of things. But what I'm really excited about having these bundles on the site is that if wherever someone is on their lettering journey, if they've just maybe started following either of you in the last couple of months and they didn't even know lettering was a thing, they're like, man, I would love to learn how to do lettering, but I would also love how to do what Telisa does or what Doris does. They can start from the very beginning and get the absolute basics and fundamentals down. And they can, like, we have courses now to take them all the way through, like you said. And to me, that's super exciting because what I'm mostly motivated by is reaching and contributing to the lives of all these creators, not just yourselves and your businesses, but the people that take your courses. Because I would love nothing more than to reach 10,000 creators with online courses. I'm not going to do that on my own. I think I've sold like 15 of mine. You know, I don't have a big audience or a big platform online. And so being able to work with amazing, talented creators like yourselves means that I can have a greater impact on the creator economy and those that are trying to make a living doing what they love with the art and the crafts and the skills that they love to do every day. So man, imagine taking something you love to do as a hobby and turning it into a business and being able to do that for a living. That's what these courses also help you do. So like the transformation from I would love to learn this to I do this full time and make a full-time living on it. That's kind of what we've done here with these 4 courses. And I'm just so excited about that.
Well, we couldn't do it without you, Darren.
Exactly.
You could, you just wouldn't have me on a live stream.
No, I'm pretty sure I couldn't do it.
No,
Like,
trust me, Darren, I tried. You know why I actually started YouTube channel? I was testing the ground. It is hard to like do the filming and like editing and all that, and then building the platform. Like it was just, it's a big no for me if I had to do it myself. So
like honestly, all I want to do all day is letter. Like I just want to draw. I just want to create. You know, like everything else. Like I don't want to do it. Like that's not what I'm good at, right? What I'm good at is lettering and showing you how to letter, you know, but I'm not good at like editing a video, you know, I feel like I would be doing like a disservice, like, you know, by trying. So, you know, you, like I said, you've taken away all the pain points of, you know, for me as a creator to have an online workshop. So online course and workshop. So
amazing. Well, I'll put the plug out there. If anyone who's watching this or who watches the replay is interested in making a course, reach out to me. Just shoot me a DM, or my email is darren@craftsmancreative.co. And love to chat. I love chatting with everybody. So why don't we take the last 10 minutes or so that we have. Again, if you're interested in learning more about either of these courses or the bundles that are on the site, just go to craftsmancreative.co or check the link in either of their bios. There's links to the bundles and stuff on their landing pages. But why don't we take some questions? I love taking questions. I don't know about you two, but it's like my favorite thing. So we've got about 10 minutes left. We've got, 15, 20 people here. Would love to see if anyone has questions about any aspect of this: making a course, filming a course, producing courses, editing courses, selling courses, creating courses, whatever you want to talk about, or even if you want to talk about lettering and ask Doris and Telisa questions about their skill set. We've got time.
We should have threw this out in the beginning, and then someone should have just written it down. I'm not a IG pro, so I didn't even think about it. But so people came in and out, and
well, I'm the IT pro, and I have it up on my other computer. I'm logged in on Craftsman Creative, so I can see the entire stream of all the questions, all that stuff. But there's no questions yet. Other than someone said, I need to start selling a calligraphy course with that skill set. Well, I don't have the skill set. So if there's any calligraphy artists out there, I'd love to do a calligraphy course on the site. All right. Terrace, roughly how long did filming your course take? Days, hours, eons? Well, why don't you two take that one?
Because I'm very long-winded, I took 2 whole days. And I feel like I could have went on and on because I have more surfaces I wanted to cover. Like I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the business side of things, but I never really got a chance to. So maybe in the future there might be a secondary course on that. But yeah, like Darren and I recorded literally from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with a lunch break in between, right? So yeah, like 2 days of shooting, and we've composed it, we compressed it into, I believe it's 8.5 hours of video content and 48 videos, right? So there's a lot there. Right? Yeah. You're gonna see, like near the end, I've like wilted, I've like faded, like dehydrated, you'll
That's
see.
funny.
You'll be like, this must be the last 10 minutes of the second day of shooting because she looks like she's half died, half dead. Telisa, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so with me, I think days before the filming day, because I knew I only had one day. The reason being because I had so many life events during that week. So I had one day. So I was like, I can make this work. So I created like a schedule, like at this time of Slapdown, we're going to cover this about this module. At this time, we're going to cover about this module. And then I knew like how long it'll take, because I know how long it takes me to engrave, right? Because I'm gonna do a voiceover when I'm trying to explain things. So like it was like to the minute. I don't know. I was probably crazy like that, but it was like that. I'm like, Darren, we're gonna talk about this at this hour, and then we're gonna talk about the cover about this. So and then I had like, so yeah, it was 12 hours. You came to my house at 9 and we finished at 9. By the end of the day, my head was sweating. You could probably tell. I had a greasy face by the end.
Oh no. Yeah. So to expand on that, like your course, Telisa, is 6 hours long. We did it in 1 day. Doris's course is 8.5 hours worth of video content that we filmed in 2 days. So we were intense, but it was only because of your preparation that we were able to get it done in 1 day. All right. Some other questions. So, do you have drafts of your courses and use it as a pilot before you sold the final product? No, we didn't do anything like that. Basically, we put up a landing page that kind of gave an outline of what the course covers, and it had some information. And then as we were going, I would update the landing page for them. So once we filmed the course, I was like, great, now I know what the course outline is, so I'll add the curriculum to the page. Great, we have some images or videos or trailer from the course from what we filmed, I can add that to the page. So over a few months, I was strategically adding things, and that gave them more show your work opportunities to say, oh, here's the curriculum. Oh, here's the teaser. Oh, here's some stuff for social media, right? So we didn't have like a mini course and then expand it. We filmed the entire course, and then we were kind of slowly updating the landing pages for people who were putting in their emails and saying, yes, tell me about this when it comes. Telisa, someone wants to hear more about your business savvy outlook in a future live. So we can do that some other time. Maybe
sure,
another workshop in the future. There we go. So Kelsey asked about how did you do such a great job with pre-sales? Do you want to talk through that, Telisa? Some of the strategy behind doing pre-sales?
So one of the things that I did before we had connection, like me and with Darren, I took a course from Jenna Rainey about how to build online course. And one of the things that she talked about was marketing. And she did talk about having like a free workshop as a lead magnet. And that kind of like, you know, I tell you the tools. And then from that, like what I like about that is that because it goes to your email, like I don't have to deal with Instagram algorithm. It is for sure in your email. You can always go to it, and anyone doesn't know, you don't miss your email, like, you know, as a student. And from that, I can kind of like sell it without actually selling it. It's like, hey, if you want to learn more, you can, you know, buy the course. So I think that really helped pre-launching the course, because like our videos weren't even ready at that time, right? It was still in the editing, but I had quite a lot of people who was already interested in investing in the course, and having that free workshop as a pre-launch really helped a lot. And definitely from that, if you need to, you know, start creating your email newsletter. So for the whole year, I was building a list of email. So
yeah, super smart. And I think just to get granular, that free workshop, you had over 250 people sign up, which for me is unheard of. I've never seen anyone like at our level of creator and audience have that kind of desire to learn from you. And 250 people signed up to attend. 85 people watched live. And I think you sold 20 in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right. So it was pretty incredible. Like the conversion rate, so to speak, very high, you know, on a high ticket item, like a $400 or $500 course. Generally you're in like the 0.5% or 1% range, but you know, you take let's do some quick math. I don't like doing math in public. So 20 divided by 85 people that came.
Like
22%.
Waiting for my drive to spin up.
We have 2 minutes left, by the way.
We have 2 minutes left. So Doris, what's your favorite lettering style? And then let's also answer, how do you practice in order to get better? How many hours? But that was a 24% conversion rate.
Yeah, okay. That's a very good conversion rate. Like, yay, Telisa. I would say, okay, if you're going to practice lettering, you have to practice all the time. do it. Like, I'm not saying you got to make these projects all the time. When you're writing your grocery list, you know, do some, go ahead.
No,
1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Yep. When you're doing your grocery list, when you're writing a birthday card, like, you know, you have to practice your lettering all the time, right? Like, and it shouldn't be annoying or hard. It should just be something that you want to do naturally, right? But once you like practice on paper and things like that, eventually, you know, if you add the element of like a mirror, a chalkboard, a piece of wood, you know, glass, that's what makes it extra gorgeous. So I don't want to get cut off. I want to say a proper goodbye. I'm just that type of person, you know. So, you know, I don't want to go on and on, but you know, it's been great, guys, having you on here and doing this IG live. I just want to wrap up before it cuts us off.
Okay, so I think we're gonna get cut off soon, so we can say goodbye. This is going to be saved on our replays on our feed, so you can always watch it again. If you have any questions, feel free to DM us on Instagram or email us. And thank you for staying here.
Bye.
And bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See y'all later.